just a real pleasure to follow Steve. The guy's such a natural, and he did that on the back of an envelope, and I think he wrote it after he sat down. So, that was a speech, and I've been working on mine for 4 months.
You'll do fine, Ed. We got confidence.
Excuse me if I stutter a little bit. I appreciate being here. I don't know if anybody gets a newsletter called Healthcare Real Estate Insights, but it's filled with all the people that are in this business for real in terms of developing medical office buildings, especially on hospital campuses or in conjunction with hospital campuses. But PJ Camp, who's the managing partner of Morgan Keegan Company, used to be Shattuck Cannon Partners, said this in this interview in this newsletter. He says, we are going to have to change the way we think going forward in doing business. It's not business as usual anymore. With all the change in healthcare, the Reform Act, the mergers and acquisitions of hospitals, doctor groups, large doctor groups forming, managed care companies being formed, coming into play by January of next year. And he said, we're going to need to have thought leaders. And he said, the day of just walking into a hospital system and offering to monetize their MOBs and hand them some money so they can put it back in operations, basically being a financier and a broker are gone. You've got to differentiate yourself and help get on their side of the table and think with them about what they're going to do in the future. They're predicting that the days of the single hospitals, the single standalone hospitals, is probably history. That they're going to be merging and being acquired, because only the fittest will survive. And that's the kind of market that we're coming into at this moment in time. I wanted to show you a few of the projects that we've done, either are doing or we've done in the past. And with every medical office project, you need to define a few items, because it differentiates one project from the other. And it's always a moving target as to some of these key issues. One of them is, who are the parties involved in this transaction? They're not the same all the time, so that they move. Secondly, who coughs up the money? The capital. Third, who owns the land? Fourth, who owns the building? Fifth, who controls the restrictions on that building, the CC&Rs and the uses of that building, what can't go in and what can go in? Does that limit your marketing ability? Who has that type of control? Who takes up the least risk? Who takes the most space in the building between that particular transaction? Who provides the financing? Who guarantees it? Who does the permanent financing? Who controls, and I use that term very loosely, the prospects? I don't think they can be controlled, but assuming they can be, who has the right to control the prospects? And who has the right to create the exit strategy? So with the different projects I'm going to show you just super quickly, hopefully, I'm going to outline that each one of these projects were done differently. They were structured differently. And if you are out looking in the Inland Empire and say, you know what, that's a fantastic corner right over there at Main and 4th Street. That should be medical office. Well, your opinion doesn't hold that much weight. It's the users that make that decision. And if you're not dealing with the users, and if they're not telling you that, this is not the time for speculation, spec building in the medical office market. It was difficult enough when the market was robust. It's just not the time right now. This particular building here is a cancer center that we actually won an award to build this cancer center down with Sharp Chula Vista Hospital, and it's on their campus. So this is a campus project. This is on their dirt, and they're our party. But McKenna, which is the company that I'm with right now, it's called the DBFO developer, the design, build, finance, and operate developer. So that's our responsibility, that's our role. Sharp, because we can sell it if we want to, but they have a first right of refusal, they have a first right of offer, and they have a revolving every 5 years. They have a right to just flat out buy it. It's at market, but what's the market for a cancer center in Chula Vista that's a one-of-a-kind cancer center? So now, why did we do this project? Because it's a beautiful project, and my partner is a cancer survivor, and he wanted to go after this, and we beat 3 or 4 really major medical office building developers that are across the country, and we're very proud of it. And it'll make money. That's one more good thing. All right, the next slide is a project that we are doing in Escondido. Now again, the players are a little bit different. What's the unique feature of this particular project? Number one, this building happens to be a stone's throw, and I'm sorry to use the pun, because Stone Brewery is right between us and the brand new hospital that's going in, Palomar Medical Center West. It's an $800 million hospital, and within that business park, which is about a 100-acre business park, we got grandfathered in and can be the only medical building in that business park other than the medical office that's on campus. So we saw that as a great opportunity, and we have some pre-leasing going, even though the hospital's not going to be up and running for about a year and a half. So I won't bore you by going down through the whole list, but we have the lease-up risk, we have the reward, we have the exit strategy. The thing that's unique about it is we do have an exclusivity in the sense of nobody else can be near the hospital other than us. Okay, the next one is right here. Oh, that's the hospital under construction in Escondido. This next one, maybe you've seen it from the freeway. It's called Hope Medical Building in Menifee. What's unique about this is that it was developed by our company, Medical Real Estate, and an investor who put up the cash as seed money, and then we got doctors to join the LLC, and we developed the building, and then we sold off the units as condos after the building was built. And those initial investors, doctor investors that came in, got a better deal than the doctors that came in at a later time, just from the street. This building, everyone said, you're too far away from the normal traffic flow on Bradley Avenue, and we said yes, but we're right on the freeway. And Steve, you and I talked about this, about retail medicine. This isn't retail in the sense of everything on the ground floor, but this building has more signs on it than a retail center. And doctors love signage, especially when it's on the freeway.
You can see it from the space shuttle.
Yeah, you actually can. Thank you, Al.
The signage, I mean.
Yeah, the signage is huge. So, so this is a different opportunity and a different uniqueness. The investor made they made their investment back at a very good return. The doctors that came in early bought this at about $100 a foot less than the doctors that came in at the tail end of the project. So, and it's a full building. It's got imaging, it's got pharmacy, it's got 3 laboratories. One lab told me they see 500 or 600 people a day. It's just packed, and it was a very successful project. Okay, the next project is a 8-building, 10-acre project in Hemet called the Hemet Center for Medical Excellence. This is being developed in stages. We've built 3 buildings now with 5 more to come when the market comes back. This is different because Medical Real Estate developed it as a joint venture with Harrison Street Real Estate Capital out of Chicago, and they put up 95% of the money, we put up 5%. And this is their wheelhouse. They want to be in medical, student housing, assisted living, and storage. So we went back and met them, and they're a good partner to have. There's also another unique aspect to this building. We were about 1/3 to 40% finished with construction, and our bank went bankrupt. So the FDIC took over the loan, and it was 6 months negotiating with the FDIC before we could buy the loan from them. Fortunately, we bought it for $2 million less than what the value was, so there was a windfall there, and we needed it because the market in Hemet is extremely soft. The competition market in Hemet is convoluted, to say the least. But we are finding some very attractive tenants. There's a doctor group that does ophthalmology, and they have an entire building there, and they're very successful. They have 2 OR rooms in their 12,000 feet. What's the exit strategy on this? Essentially, Harrison Street's calling the shots there. They're the big dog. They besides putting in 95% of the capital, they put in 100% of the loan proceeds to take the place of the lender. So this thing's an all-cash project right at this moment. And the other unique thing about this is that we've designated some of the buildings to be condos and some of them to be leased product. Next. Al, I was going to ask you for the picture, or the architect of this building is here, and the builder actually, right next to him. This is the Loma Linda Behavioral Medicine Institute in Redlands. It's right on Barton Avenue, Barton Boulevard at Iowa. And Loma Linda, the way this was structured is we had 2 doctors that owned the land, and they were going to build this building on spec. And as we were going through the development phase and the entitlement phase with the city, Loma Linda approached us and said, we've been wanting to do a behavioral medicine institute for 25 years, and so we structured a deal where they took the whole building. They paid us back for our entitlement costs and development costs, and then we basically did a build-to-suit for them, finished the building, and then Rick, you did all the tenant improvements for them as a separate item. So that actually turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful project. And there's one right next to it, right on the hard corner of Barton and Iowa, that we did a little differently, but Beaver Medical Group, which is part of Epic Management, took a half a floor there, and that's a whole other story about how to negotiate with a medical management company that owns a group of doctors that provide the services. Whole nother story. Okay, the next one is a 75,000-foot medical office building in Rancho Mirage. This is right at the corner of Country Club in Monterey, and it's absolutely beautiful. We started this project with just doctors. We had a group of 4 doctors that saw the vision that we had, and they put up the seed money, and we set up a separate LLC for them, and then when we got enough other doctors that wanted to join, instead of joining that seed LLC, we've created another LLC that bought at a higher price. So the guys that put up the seed money, made a profit flipping it essentially to the new group because they took the risk. But eventually this was turned into condominiums, and Eisenhower Hospital eventually got involved in this project. Initially, a lot of the doctors that were on the campus of Eisenhower moved over here. And then finally, Eisenhower not only bought their suites from them, but bought their practices from them. And now they're employees of the foundation model of, if any of you know the foundation model, where the hospital owns the bricks, the mortar, the stones, and the employees and the doctors. So that's the way healthcare is going now, in that direction. But this turned out to be beautiful, and Al designed this project also. Next. It's a little shady, but this is called the Teresina Medical Building on Teresina Boulevard in Redlands. It's across the street from Redlands Community Hospital. This is a unique project because we started out with a doctor that owned the property, but he was retiring. But he referred us to the hospital who wanted space in this building, and then a bunch of other doctors that also ended up be joining the LLC. And collectively, the doctors in the hospital became condominium owners. We set up a CCRs. But we developed it as the LLC. The doctors put up the financing and guaranteed the loans. And then they all got individual SBA loans to take the condominium out. This was unique because Redlands Community Hospital didn't have a majority of the space, but they still tried to hold restrictions on us, like the big gorilla. So they said you can't have this kind of use or that kind of use or that kind of use. That's something they normally do when you're on campus, but not off campus. Okay, that's it.